Welcome to Matt the Lawyer. I am Matt the Lawyer, Matt Johnston, coming to you from Frederick, Maryland. Nice place to live, nice place to visit. Come see us. Before we get started, I want to tell everybody about my website, www.mattthelawyer.com. Pretty clever, I know. You can go there. You can sign up for the newsletter that we're going to be sending out pretty regularly. And you can also check out my social links, my blog, other content, and if you're interested in hiring a lawyer, hey, you can go there and do that too. So, how many of you have that thing at work that just annoys you to no end? Whether it's that administrative task that you have to do every day or every couple of days, or that annoying coworker that you quickly grab the phone and bury your head in the phone to act like you have something going on so you don't have to talk to that annoying coworker. Well, for me, in my work, it's the non-disclosure agreement. It's the bane of my existence. I probably read 2 or 3 non-disclosure agreements a week, and most of them are utter crap. I know that's a little harsh, but that's the truth. So, with a hat tip to Dennis Miller, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but the non-disclosure agreement is the most abused piece of contract writing that there is. It often serves zero purpose. It describes a relationship that doesn't matter. I'm not saying that the relationship doesn't matter, but the description of it doesn't matter. It often would fail even the most basic contract analysis as to whether or not an actual contract has been made. If you're going to have a non-disclosure agreement, the purpose is to protect information that is valuable because it is confidential. That's things like a trade secret, things like unpublished intellectual property, things like a product plan that could be patentable but isn't in the patent process. That's what a non-disclosure agreement is designed to protect. It's not designed to protect your budget spend on a new website. It's not designed to protect your logo. That's public information. If there's a problem with the disclosure of this information, in almost every case there is a monetary mechanism by which to achieve and be compensated for that loss. So if somebody's using your trademark logo or something like that, you can sue them for infringement. And you can get lots of money, including attorney's fees in some cases. But if you have just some sort of injunction, it's a pointless exercise. And most of the time, people aren't giving anything up. The party who's supposedly giving the confidential information isn't really giving confidential information. And the party who's receiving it just gave up the ability for 2 years to do anything. If the real issue is you don't want people to publicly know that you're in negotiations with somebody, just have an agreement that says, we're not going to make an announcement publicly about these negotiations. Thus endeth the rant. Okay, so, getting back to my point, the non-disclosure agreement, quite frankly, needs a revamp. And it needs to start with the notion of what's the purpose of it? What are you trying to achieve? Is this the lead up to another kind of agreement? If so, then why don't you just simply have an agreement that no public statements are going to be made? It's simple. Is this something where you're asking for technical help on something that is patentable? Okay, now we're talking about something that is worthy of a non-disclosure agreement. Are you talking about a merger in which proprietary financial information might be disclosed, which would affect the value of that company? Maybe we're talking about a non-disclosure agreement. But at the end of the day, what we're really talking about is trust. And if you don't have trust in the business partner that you're working with, then a non-disclosure agreement isn't going to actually create that trust magically. It's simply not. If you don't have trust in that business partner, find another business partner. It's that simple. So figure out what the purpose of it is. And then when you figure out what the purpose of it is, figure out how much information is going to be necessary, and then whether that information is actually subject to a trade secret or intellectual property type definition. Because if it's not, then why bother? Okay? So if you're looking at what's going to be shared, what information is going to be shared, you need to pay close attention to the definition of confidential information. Most of the time I get this confidential information description and it is 120 words of a long list of stuff that, quite frankly, is never going to get disclosed, even in the most confidential of negotiations. I've seen things included like employee names and addresses. Well, of course that's not going to be disclosed. Contractor information, plans, marketing plans, websites, logos, all kinds of information that is never going to get disclosed because that's not the kind of relationship that's being built here. If you're going in and you're going to be asking for a website design, are you really going to be talking about your marketing plans, your marketing budget? No, you're going to be talking about your website. So if you have to have a confidential information definition that's talking about your website, talk about the website. Okay, it's that simple. Finally, and this is my big thing, most non-disclosure agreements, if they were truly analyzed by a court, would be found to be absolutely unenforceable. Every contract requires each party to give up something. The legal term is called consideration. But essentially it is, what are you giving up so that the other party will engage in the transaction with you? So if you're the party who's going to be giving confidential information, what are you giving up? You're not really giving up anything. You're choosing to disclose something that you're under no obligation to disclose. Okay? In order to get that other person to give you some sort of promise that they're not going to disclose it. All right, so what is the other side getting? The one who's receiving the confidential. What are they getting from the other side? They can't use this confidential information that's been given to them. That's what their promise is about. So what else are they getting? In most cases, nothing. Not even the exclusive right to negotiate with the party who's giving them information. Now, if they wanted to give that up, the party giving information wanted to give that up, that's consideration. Money is consideration. A promise to do something else in the future, that's consideration. But most of the time these contracts say the parties aren't under any obligation to enter into any other further agreement. So what's given up? Nothing. So, when you're going to be dealing with a non-disclosure agreement and you really want to make it enforceable, each side has to give something up. They have to give something to the relationship. And that's the key thing that we're talking about here. We're talking about a relationship. We're talking about human interaction. Sure, it might be companies, but humans run the company. So, have a human relationship. If you are the party who's going to be giving confidential information, be mindful about what you're doing. Place a little bit of trust in your business partner. All right? Believe that they're not going to disclose that information. Believe that they're not going to use that information for anybody else. If you're the person who's receiving it, if you want to be trusted, be trustworthy. Okay? If you receive confidential information, treat it like confidential information, even if you don't have an agreement about it. Somebody's giving you information about their website, they don't want you blabbing that to everybody at the next Chamber of Commerce meeting. They want to keep that within the relationship. Communicate, talk to people, trust people, be open about your relationship. And believe me, it goes a long way. It's human relationships. Okay? So the next time you start working with somebody and they start whipping out a non-disclosure agreement, don't start panting like Pavlov's dogs. Stop. Think about it. Ask if this is actually necessary. Because chances are, in fact, the vast majority of chances are, it's not going to be necessary. So, non-disclosure agreements, such a pain in it for my existence. I sometimes am reluctant to charge clients to review them, but after all, I am in the business of providing legal advice. Anyway, please go check out the website, www.mattthelawyer.com. I hope everybody will take a peek-see there. And if you're interested in receiving more information or you wanted to check out some of my social media there, please do so and subscribe to the newsletter. In the meantime, this is Matt the Lawyer signing off. I'll see you later.